was careless of the parents to let their 9-year-old son play with a shotgun. The shotgun accidentally fired, and the younger son, Leighton, fell to the ground. Leighton's brother Spivet ran to tell his father, but it was delayed. By the time the ambulance arrived, Leighton had stopped breathing. This made Spivet feel guilty because it was he who wanted to study the transmission date of gunfire that brought his brother to the barn to do the experiment. From then on, Spivet's parents and sister were indifferent to him. Although they didn't say it, they all tacitly acknowledged the fact that Spivet killed his brother. Fortunately, Spivet was a very bright child from an early age. Even the teachers were jealous of his talent and would fail him in every exam. Spivet finally couldn't resist. He asked the teacher why. The teacher said that your answer is not the standard answer. It is all made up by yourself. Spivet immediately pulled out an academic journal and shocked the teacher. Papers written by his students are published in the world's leading academic journals. Such a silent and powerful rebuttal immediately made the teacher feel very pressured, so he directly kicked him out of the classroom. Spivet returns home aggrieved and has no one to talk to. He was left alone, lost in his invention. Once the river near the farm dried up, and my father was very worried, Spivet immediately made a diorama and told his father that if it dug a tributary upstream, hydrodynamics would increase the flow of the river and prevent it from drying up. But his father was not interested in his proposal. Spivet approached his mother to help her, an entomologist, with her experiments, but she refused coldly, often ignored by his family. Spivet felt very depressed, and such a family atmosphere made him very depressed. But then came the call from the Smithsonian to inform him that he had won the prestigious Baird Prize. Spivet once mailed a design for his perpetual motion machine to the Smithsonian Institute and won a prize. Spivet is so happy that he decides to go alone to receive the award. Leaving his family without love, he packed his bags and left quietly. The little boy took out a paintbrush and painted the signal red. A train saw the red light and stopped. Spivet quickly carried the luggage up, and before he could get on, the staff found him. He quickly dived under the train to hide, but just then the train started, so he got out again. When the staff saw it, they hurried after it. The clever Spivet quickly climbed onto the conveyor belt, pressed the switch, and successfully jumped into the carriage along the conveyor belt. In this way, Spivet followed the freight train through the mountains and began his dream journey. It was the first time he had left his hometown, and without the usual grievances and worries, Spivet could not resist reading his poetry aloud. But this comfort was soon interrupted. When the train arrived at the next station, the administrator, who had received the message in advance, immediately began a full car search. In a panic, Spivet hid in a caravan checked by a train. The administrator came to check and found that the door could not be opened and could only observe through the window. Spivet, dressed as a dummy, stood motionless inside, to the shock of the caretaker, who wondered, why does this dummy still have a runny nose? Without thinking much, the train started again, and Spivet managed to escape again. Then the train continues on. After a day's journey to a small town, Spivet sees a hot dog shop outside his window. He is very hungry and gets out of his car to buy a hot dog, just as the police arrive with his missing person notice. However, under the cover of the kind owner's wife, Spivet successfully escaped again. After a hard day, he finally got something to eat. He was happy at first, but then he was sad. He began to miss his home and how much he wanted his parents' love and care. He remembered the past and could not help crying. When the train finally arrived at the terminal, Spivet got off the train and packed the necessary items into his backpack. After he had his suitcase again, he went alone to the Smithsonian Institution to receive the award. But within a few steps, he was spotted by police on patrol. Spivet ran away. With the police in hot pursuit, Spivet had to escape capture by jumping off the bridge, but he also suffered a collision injury. Fortunately, a kind lorry driver let him hitch a ride and drove him directly to the college gate. The 10-year-old boy is a Nobel Prize winner. The dean looked at him in utter disbelief. Just when the dean wanted to turn around and leave, the little boy easily told the working principle of the perpetual motion machine and the energy formula. To the amazement of everyone present, the dean was instantly convinced that the boy in front of him was a genius. He hugged Spivet excitedly because he knew that the genius in front of him would make the Smithsonian famous. So he completely packaged the Spivet and invited celebrities from all walks of life to attend the Spivet Awards dinner. The dinner began, and Spivet walked slowly to the podium. It was the first time in his life that he spoke on stage, and he felt very nervous, just when people thought he was going to share advanced scientific theories. But Spivet said that everyone here at least has a doctorate degree, and he is only a primary school student, and is completely unqualified to impart knowledge to you. He just wanted to say 3 things right now. 1, he wanted to thank everyone for not canceling the award because of his young age. Second, he designed a perpetual motion machine with magnets that would be demagnetized after 400 years. So his self-designed perpetual motion machine is not really perpetual motion. Then he choked out the third thing, and everyone at the scene was confused. Why would someone talk about his brother's death in his moment of honor? But they did not know that the reason why Spivet had come here all the time was to tell all the grievances in his heart, so no one gets the wrong idea that he killed his brother. Spivet told the crowd that he likes to do all kinds of science experiments, while his brother just likes to play with guns. In order to be closer to his brother, he thought of studying the transmission data of gunfire, but no one knew that the shotgun would suddenly fire. This confession of Spivet's true feelings touched all the people present, and everyone stood up to applaud him, and the mother, who arrived, also saw the whole process. But Spivet had no idea, and in the following days, the dean took Spivet to attend various business events and accept interviews on various radio programs. At this time, Spivet became a cash cow in the hands of the dean. This time, the dean took Spivet to a famous talk show. In order to increase ratings, the show's host repeatedly mentioned the accident that resulted in the death of his brother. Spivet didn't give them a chance, so the host called in Spivet's mother. This took Spivet by surprise, and he quickly apologized to his mother for his sudden departure. And my mother finally said what she had buried in her heart. It was the comfort Spivet had been waiting for, the moment when this estrangement between mother and son finally broke down. Before the show was over, the mother left with Spivet. The host went out with the cameraman for the effect of the show. At this time, the dean also came to stop the Spivet who wanted to leave, only to be beaten. The host then tried to stop him, but was knocked down by Spivet's father. Finally, Spivet jumped on his father's back and went home, and the family walked out of the haze of pain and regained a happy life. This isn't a fairy tale about a boy genius, or the legendary life of some young scientist. It is simply a process of acceptance of a sad reality that cannot be escaped. The scenery in the movie is very beautiful, very open, and it is intoxicating. The family has its own quirks, but it will still sit at the same table to eat breakfast. But this atmosphere is an illusion, because the little boy in the cowboy hat, who often appears in the mind of the genius T.S. His unexpected death one day is the harmonious peace of this family, although no one will talk about what happened that day. In T.S.'s heart, he was deeply aware that it was because of himself, but he did not dare to mention it, nor did he want to recall it, because it was a fact that he could not bear at his age. Winning the Beard Award was just the beginning. He had long wanted to escape such an unacceptable environment in his self-condemnation psychology, so that he needed to prove himself in another form. As his Saturday on the train with tears in his eyes, missing his loved ones and imagining his brother in a cowboy hat going through the escape with him, he slowly began to realize that escape could never end, and that what he wanted was not to stand on the podium and be a doll. It's not about being met at the White House as a role model for the education system, and it's certainly not about being taken advantage of and losing your freedom. He just needs a chance to say what he's been saying for a long time in front of everyone about what really happened that day and his infinite remorse for his brother's death. But he's just a kid, and there's nothing he can do to stop people from turning it into a hype. At this time, it needs the appearance of his mother, the female doctor who blindly replaces the pain of losing her son with a love of scientific research. After such a sad event, everyone is so caught up in intense self-condemnation that they have no energy to think about the feelings of others. Because of this, their family is like a disorganized sand. After facing up to the past, mutual understanding and mutual comfort can resolve doubts and refuel the power of family affection. Even if it is a terrible past, still have to face. Because it exists, it will affect our lives in a subtle way. We might as well bid farewell to the past, cherish the people around us, and live with our hearts.